Factor by grouping is pretty much exactly what it says. I'm going to factor these things by grouping them up. I'm going to start with this guy first. It's a little easier problem. So I just group around the plus sign. You know, so I keep everything. That does not change this 2, right? This 2 is still plus, right? Mm-hmm. So I have these things, and now I'm going to use different colors to use my GCF. So I'm going to pull out a GCF here. Same way we used to. Oh, there's an X there. And then when I pull out the X, what's left?
Y minus 7.
Y minus 7. Okay? So there's that. And then with this one, I'm going to pull out a 2. And so what's left?
Y minus 7.
So now I'm going to rewrite them as X times Y minus 7. Plus, because this plus is still there, y minus 7 times 2. And so I'll ask myself, well, self, which one is the common thing? And hopefully myself will say y minus 7. That these two things are the same, so I can take out the y minus 7. And when I do that, what's left? X plus 2. And so now I just rewrite them again. Y minus 7 times X plus 2. And I'm done. They're factored. And that's factored by grouping. Okay? And so we're going to do the same thing with this one, except it's a little more tricky. And sometimes you'll have to rearrange them. You know, sometimes there's not a common factor with the first two. So if you want, you can always rearrange them. Remember, keeping the sign with the number. Okay? So I can rearrange these any way I want as long as I'm keeping the sign with the number. Okay? But I don't have to rearrange these. I just have to take something into consideration. So I want to leave this sign right here. Oops, sorry. I want to leave that negative sign right there. So when I put in this parentheses, I'm going to put in this plus. So when I put in this parentheses, I'm putting in this plus. Okay? And then I bring in the other parentheses around these guys. And now it's the same thing all over again. I'm going to take the GCF here. So I look at my lowest variable, and that's x squared. I pull that out, and I'm left with x cubed minus 1. Remember, it doesn't just go away. A lot of my students just, well, it's gone now. No, it's not gone, right? There's a 1 there. You have to hold its place because you got to get back to where you started somehow. So that's the key of factoring, is making sure you keep your places. All right, and so over here, a lot of students look at this one and they go, well, there's nothing really you can do, and it's done. And you're like, well, it's kind of done, except for the fact that there's a negative out front. And negatives are kind to us, so we want to take care of them. And so we want to pull out a negative. Okay? And sometimes that's a negative 2 or a negative 7, but in this case it's just a negative 1. And when I take it out, I'm left with the opposite signs of what I have. So it's x cubed minus 1. And there's still this plus sign between all these. And so now I just rewrite it all. And so I have x squared times x cubed minus 1 plus x cubed minus 1 times negative 1. And here I should be able to pull out the x cubed minus 1. These two things are the same. And what I have left is x squared plus a negative 1. And when I rewrite that, I should have x cubed minus 1 times x squared minus, because a positive and a negative make a minus 1. And then this is where we say, okay, what's going on here? And then you say, well, actually, this is 1 could be cubed, and it doesn't change anything. And this one could be squared, and it doesn't change anything. And so now I have a difference of cubes, and I have a difference of squares. So I have to use those formulas. Okay? So the a cubed minus b cubed is equal to a squared b squared plus ab, and this is opposite of this sign, so it's plus. And the a squared minus b squared is equal to, is equal to a minus b, and the conjugate a plus b. Okay? So now I want to use these to solve this equation, these two, or not solve, but to factor out these two polynomials. So I'm just going to go through. We'll start with this guy, and I've got my a, and I've got my b. So it's just a squared x squared. Actually, sorry. Why did I do that first? This is times a minus b. So let me go back here. Again, this should be written as a minus b times the quantity of a squared plus ab plus b squared. And so now I come down and say, okay, this is a minus b, or x minus 1, times the quantity of x squared plus x times 1 plus 1 squared. Whatever it is in there, it's just squaring it. Okay? And then with this guy, I'll bring him down in blue, and it's a squared minus b squared, so I'm just coming down as a, or x, minus b, or 1, and then the conjugate, x plus 1. And then now I can rewrite this equation, so I have x minus 1, x squared is just x squared, and then x times 1 is just x, and then 1 squared is just 1, and then everything else comes down.
But you can write the x minus 1 squared, right? Without having to write x minus 1 twice?
Yeah, now that we look at it and we go, oh wait, there's two x minus 1s, we can always write that as x minus 1 squared times x plus 1 times the polynomial or trinomial x squared plus x plus 1.
Is the proper way when you write that, put the polynomial at the end?
Yeah, put the trinomial.
I mean
So you'd want to put the monomials first, the binomials second, the trinomials, and then the polys.
I know that was like kind of a really hard question, but did you guys get that? Or was that too hard of it? I mean, I got it.
That was
like
fast.
one of the most difficult ones that